I found the blue jay feather on a Tuesday morning caught under the windshield wiper of my rusty Corolla, like a message I wasn't ready to read. It was impossibly bright against the Cleveland drizzle, a slash of blue in a world of gray. I plucked it free, my fingers brushing its soft edge, and slipped it into my coat pocket, thinking it was just a small gift from the universe. I'm Sarah, 42, and I didn't know then that the feather marked the day my life started to unravel. It was that same evening over a dinner of reheated meatloaf when Tom dropped the bomb. We were at our wobbly kitchen table, me, Tom, and our 16-year-old daughter Lily, who was doodling in her sketchbook, her earbuds half in, half out. Tom was picking at his food, his phone buzzing with work notifications he ignored. It was our usual chaos, the kind you don't question until it's too late. "Sarah," he said, his voice too casual. "I ordered a DNA kit for us. Thought it'd be cool to dig into our roots." He didn't look up, just stabbed a piece of meatloaf like it was no big deal. I laughed because what else do you do? Roots? What, you think we're royalty or something, I teased, nudging Lily, who smirked. "Dad, you're like the least royal person ever. You wear socks with sandals." Tom's mouth twitched, but his eyes stayed on his plate, and that's when I felt it, a cold twist in my gut. "What's this really about, Tom?" I asked, my fork still. Lily popped an earbud out her pencil, pausing mid-dragon. "It's just for fun," he said, but his voice had an edge like he was selling something. "Lily's old enough now. Might be good to know for sure." For sure. Those words hit like a slap. Know what for sure? That Lily was ours. That I hadn't. What cheated 17 years ago. I stared at him, my heart thudding. Lily frowned, her hazel eyes. Tom's eyes narrowing. "That's super weird, Dad. Like, why do we need a test to know we're family? I'm literally your clone." She wasn't wrong. Lily had Tom's dimple, his stubborn scowl, even his laugh. I used to say she got nothing from me except my love for cheesy pop songs. Tom shrugged, but it was forced, the kind he does when he's already made up his mind. "It's coming tomorrow. We'll do it this weekend." He stood, grabbing his plate, conversation over. I sat there, the meatloaf cold, my mind racing. Why did he need a test? What wasn't he saying? I thought about our 18 years together, high school sweethearts, a shotgun wedding when I got pregnant, a life built on mortgage payments and school plays. Lily was born in June 2008, a chaotic but perfect day at Fairview Hospital. Tom was there crying when he held her, his hands shaking in the delivery room. I still had the photo taped to our fridge, us exhausted but whole. So why was he acting like that moment was a lie? That night, I couldn't sleep. Tom's snores filled the bedroom, but I was wide awake, staring at the ceiling fan's slow spin. I kept hearing for sure, like a warning bell. Was he doubting me, Lily? Or was it something else I thought about, his late nights at the office, the way he'd been cagey about his new coworker Jenna, who he mentioned one too many times? I slipped out of bed at 1 a.m., grabbed my phone and Googled, why would someone want a family DNA test? The answers made my stomach churn. Paternity doubts, secret affairs, adoption cover-ups. None of it fit. I'd never cheated, never even wanted to. But the more I scrolled, the more I felt like I was standing on a fault line. The next morning I found Lily in the kitchen. Her sketchbook opened, the feather on the counter beside her. "Where'd you get this?" she asked, twirling it, the blue catching the light. My breath caught. I'd left it in my coat. "Found it on the car," I said, trying to sound casual. "Pretty right." She nodded, her eyes curious. "It's cool, like a good luck charm or something." I smiled, but my chest tightened. I didn't tell her I'd found it the same day her dad decided to question our family. I didn't know why, but it felt like the feather was a signal, a flare sent up just before the storm hit. At work part-time at a downtown bookstore, I was a mess. I kept mis-shelving books, my mind stuck on Tom's words, the feather's weight in my pocket. I texted my sister Kate, who's always been my rock. "Tom wants us to do a DNA test. Says it's for roots." I'm freaking out. Her reply was instant. "That's sketchy AF. What's he hiding?" Call him out. I wanted to, but confrontation isn't my thing. I'm the one who fixes things, who keeps the peace. But this wasn't fixable with a smile. That evening I tried talking to Tom. He was in the garage sorting tools, which meant avoiding me. The radio hummed some old Springsteen song, and I stood in the doorway, the feather in my hand. "Tom," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "Why do you really want this test? If you've got doubts, just say it." He didn't look up, just kept arranging wrenches. "It's not a big deal, Sarah. Everyone does these tests now. Don't overthink it." But I saw his jaw clench, his fingers. Pause. "It feels like you're questioning me," I said, stepping closer. "Like you think I lied about something. About Lily." My voice cracked and I hated it. He finally met my eyes. And there was something there. Anger, guilt, I couldn't tell. "I'm not accusing you of anything," he snapped. "I just want to know my family. Is that so wrong?" My breath caught. "Know your family? What's that supposed to mean? Lily's your daughter. I'm your wife. What's not clear?" He turned away, muttering, "We'll talk when the results come." I wanted to scream to make him say it, but he was already shutting me out. I went back inside, my hands shaking. Lily was in the living room sketching her earbuds in. "You okay, Mom?" she asked, pulling one out. She's always had this knack for reading me, like she knows when I'm falling apart. "Just tired," I lied, forcing a smile. She tilted her head, not buying it. "Dad's acting weird. Like weirder than his usual dad weird." I knotted my throat tight. "Yeah, we're figuring some stuff out." I wanted to tell her about the feather, about the day it appeared, but I didn't. Not yet. That night, I joined a Reddit group. Family Secrets, I think. I scrolled through posts about DNA tests, blowing up lives, secret siblings, fake dads, moms with hidden pasts. Every story made my heart race, but I couldn't stop. I posted anonymously, "Husband wants family DNA test out of nowhere. Says it's for roots. I'm losing it. What do I do?" The replies poured in. "He's probably projecting," one said. "Check his phone bet. There's a clue," another wrote. "Get a lawyer just in case," a third suggested. A lawyer for what? Divorce custody. My head spun. I pulled the feather from my pocket, its blue edge sharp against my palm. It wasn't just a charm anymore. It was the moment everything shifted, the day Tom's doubt cracked our foundation. I didn't know what he was chasing or what the test would show, but I knew I had to fight for Lily, for us, for the truth. The feather was my warning, and I wasn't ignoring it. The DNA kit showed up on Wednesday, a glossy box with "Discover Your Story" plastered across it, mocking me from the kitchen counter. I kept the blue jay feather in my pocket, its edge sharp against my fingers, a reminder of the day Tom decided to question everything. I'm Sarah, 42, and I was starting to feel like my life was a Reddit thread, spiraling out of control with no way to pin the comments. Lily noticed the box, first poking it with her pencil during breakfast. Her sketchbook was open, a half-drawn phoenix glowing in reds and golds. "This the DNA thing Dad's obsessed with?" she asked, her voice dripping with teenage skepticism. Tom was sipping coffee, his eyes on his phone, avoiding us both. "Yeah," he said, not looking up. "We'll do it tonight, quick and easy." I forced a smile, my stomach churning. "Sure, like a family science project, right?" Lily rolled her eyes. "Lame. Can't we just watch Netflix instead?" But we did it that evening, swabbing our cheeks at the wobbly kitchen table. Lily went first, giggling as she mimicked a crime show detective. "Suspect's DNA acquired," she said, sealing her tube with a flourish. I tried to laugh, but my hands shook as I swabbed mine, the cotton cold against my cheek. Tom was last, his movements mechanical, like he'd rehearsed it. He took the box to mail it himself, claiming he'd swing by the post office on his way to work. I watched him drive off, the feather heavy in my pocket, and wondered what he wasn't telling me. The waiting was hell. I kept busy stacking books at the bookstore, helping Lily with her phoenix sketch, burning a batch of brownies I forgot in the oven. But every quiet moment my mind spun. What if Tom was right to doubt? What if Lily wasn't his? I'd never cheated, but what if something went wrong at the hospital? I replayed Lily's birth. June 2008, Fairview Hospital. 18 hours of labor. Tom's hand in mine, the nurse's blurry face as she handed me my daughter. It was my daughter, wasn't it? The feather felt like a warning I couldn't decode. Lily sensed the tension. On Friday night, she caught me in the laundry room folding her band tees, the feather on the dryer where I'd set it. "Mom, what's with this feather?" she asked, picking it up, her eyes searching mine. "You keep it like everywhere." I hesitated, my throat tight. "I found it the day Dad brought up the DNA test." I admitted, my voice low. "It was on the car, like a sign or something." Her brow furrowed, Tom's dimple flashing. "A sign of what? Like bad luck?" I shook my head, forcing a smile. "No, just a reminder to keep going." She twirled it, thoughtful. "It's kinda cool, but Dad's being a total weirdo." "Is he like mad at you?" I sighed, setting a shirt down. "I don't know, sweetheart. But whatever happens, you and me, we're good." She nodded, but her eyes were guarded, and she slipped the feather into her sketchbook before leaving. That night, I did something I'm not proud of. Tom was at a work dinner, and Lily was at a friend's. Alone in the house, I went to Tom's desk in the spare room. I'd never snooped, but the feather's weight, Lily's questions, pushed me over the edge. His laptop was locked new because he used to leave it open. I tried his phone, left charging on the desk. It was locked too, but a notification flashed, "Gene match new, relative match." My heart stopped. Gene match wasn't the DNA kit we'd used. Was he running a secret test? I Googled Gene Match, a service for finding biological relatives, not just ancestry. Why did he need that? I found a bank statement in his drawer, buried under receipts, $250 to Gene Match, dated 4 months ago. 4 months. Before he even mentioned the family test. My hands shook as I snapped a photo of it. Then I saw another receipt, $80, at a motel in Akron 2 weeks ago. My stomach dropped. Was he seeing someone? Jenna, the coworker he kept name-dropping, I posted on Our Family Secrets, my fingers flying, husbands, using a secret DNA app, paid for it months ago. Found a motel receipt. Is he cheating? Hiding a kid? I'm spiraling. Replies flooded in. He's looking for someone specific, one said. Motel could be a meetup with a relative, not an affair, another suggested. Get a lawyer, a third urged. I called my sister Kate, who didn't mince words. Tom's up to something shady, she said. Motel secret app. He's not just curious, Sarah. Protect yourself and Lily. Call a lawyer. I wasn't ready for that, but I emailed a family attorney, Rachel, just in case. I also messaged a Reddit user, Emily, who'd offered to meet after her own DNA drama. Coffee tomorrow, she wrote back. This stuff's a lot. You need someone who gets it. By Saturday, I was a wreck. Lily was quieter, her Phoenix sketch untouched. When's the DNA thing coming back? She asked at dinner, her voice small. Tom answered too quick. Few days. No big deal. But it was a big deal, and we all felt it. I watched him, his phone buzzing with a text he didn't open. Who's that? I asked, my voice sharp. He shrugged. Work. I didn't believe him. The feather in my pocket felt like a blade, now cutting through his lies. That night, I confronted him in the living room, the TV muted, Lily asleep upstairs. I found the Gene Match payment, I said, holding up my phone with the photo. And the motel receipt. What the hell, Tom? Are you cheating? Looking for another kid? He froze, his face pale. It's not what you think, he said, his voice low. I'm not cheating. I'm looking for someone. From my past. My jaw dropped. Who and why drag us into it with this DNA test? He rubbed his face, exhausted. My aunt told me before she died that my dad might not be my dad. I used Gene Match to find him. But then I started wondering about Lily, if maybe... He stopped, his eyes guilty. If maybe what I pressed, my voice shaking. If she's not mine, he whispered. I stared, the feather burning in my pocket. You think I cheated, or what? Tom, say it. He shook his head. I don't think you cheated. I just needed to know. I wanted to scream. But his phone buzzed again, a name flashing Jenna. My blood ran cold. "Who's Jenna?" I demanded. He looked away, muttering, "Just someone I met through Gene Match." It's not what you think, but I didn't believe him. Not anymore. I dreamed of the feather that night, falling through a storm, slicing the air. I woke up alone, Tom's side of the bed empty. He was in the kitchen, staring at his phone, Gene Match, open. I stood in the doorway, the feather in my hand, and knew this was only the beginning. Whatever he was chasing, it was tied to that feather's day, the day our family started to break. The DNA results landed in my inbox on a Monday. A cold email with your family tree. Results are here in the subject line, as if it were a party invite. I was at the bookstore shelving thrillers that felt less twisted than my life. The blue jay feather in my pocket like a shard of glass. I'm Sarah, 42, and I knew opening that email would change everything, but the feather, the warning from that Tuesday, was pushing me forward. I didn't wait for Tom. He texted, "I'll check the results tonight," but I couldn't sit on it, not after the Gene Match bombshell, the motel receipt, and his cryptic Jenna excuse. I logged into Family Tree during my break, my hands trembling. The page loaded slowly, each bar mocking me. Lily's ancestry popped up: 47% Irish, 32% German, a hint of Nordic. No shock there. Tom's family is straight out of a Dublin pub, and my mom's side is pure sauerkraut. Then came the connections. Me to Lily, 99.9% maternal probability. Relief hit like a wave. But Tom to Lily, 0% paternal probability. 0. My heart stopped. I refreshed, praying it was a glitch, but the number stayed. 0%. Lily wasn't Tom's daughter, but I hadn't cheated. I'd never even looked at another man. My mind spun to Lily's birth. June 2008, Fairview Hospital. Tom's shaky smile as he cut the cord. Was it a lab error? A hospital mix-up? I thought of Reddit threads about switched babies, fertility clinic screw-ups. Then a worse thought hit. What if Lily wasn't mine either? The feather burned in my pocket, a signal I'd misread as hope, but was now a scream of truth. I didn't tell Lily. She was at school probably sketching her phoenix or bickering with her art teacher. But I had to talk to someone. I called Kate, my sister, who answered mid-bite of lunch. "Sarah, what's up?" "You sound wrecked." I spilled at the 0%, Gene Match the motel Jenna. "Holy crap," she said. "This isn't about you cheating. It's either a hospital mess or Tom's hiding something huge. That Jenna chick bet, she's tied to Gene Match. And get Rachel on this like yesterday." I'd already emailed Rachel, the lawyer, but now I forwarded her the results, my hands shaking. "Possible hospital error," I wrote. "Need help." I met Emily, the Reddit contact, that afternoon at the diner off Route 90, its sticky tables and burnt coffee grounding me. She listened, her latte cooling as I showed her the results on my phone. 0%'s weird, she said, frowning. "If you didn't cheat, it's not just Tom. It could be a switch at birth. But here's the thing, Tom's Gene Match obsession. He's not doubting you. He's doubting himself. Did he ever mention family secrets?" I nodded, recalling his aunt's deathbed hint about his dad. "He's looking for his real father," I said. "But why drag Lily into it?" Emily leaned in. "Maybe he knows more than he's saying. Like something about the hospital. Dig into that." Her words stuck. I drove home, the feather a weight I couldn't ignore. Tom was at the kitchen table, his laptop open, the family tree results glaring. "You opened it?" he said, his voice, flat hands gripping the table's edge. "Yeah," I snapped, sitting across from him, the wobbly leg creaking. "Lily's not yours, Tom. 0%. Explain that." His face crumpled, but he didn't flinch. "I know you didn't cheat," he said, quieter. "That's not what this is." "Then what is it?" I demanded, my voice rising. "You're sneaking around with Gene Match, meeting Jenna, at motels, questioning Lily. What are you hiding?" He sighed, rubbing his eyes. "Jenna's not an affair. She's my half-sister. I found her through Gene Match 3 months ago. Same dad, different mom. We met at the motel to talk. That's it." My jaw dropped. Your sister. Why didn't you tell me he looked away? Because I was ashamed. I thought finding my dad would fix things, make me whole. But then I started wondering about Lily. My aunt worked at Fairview in '08 in admin. She said the maternity ward had issues. I didn't think much of it until the test. I froze the feather and knife in my pocket. Issues like babies getting switched. He nodded barely. I didn't want to scare you. I thought the test would clear it up. I laughed bitter. Clear it up. It says Lily's mine, but not yours. That's not possible unless... I stopped the words too heavy. Unless she's not mine either. Tom's eyes widened. You gave birth to her, Sarah. I was there. But his voice shook, and I saw my fear mirrored in him. I pulled out my phone, showing him a Reddit thread about hospital mix-ups. It happens, I said. Wrong bracelets rushed staff. We need to check Fairview's records. He didn't argue, just stared at the table, defeated. I called Fairview, my voice steady, despite my racing heart. The receptionist was polite, but firm records from 2008 are archived. You'd need a court order. I hung up furious and emailed Rachel suspect baby switch at Fairview 2008. How do we get records? She replied within an hour. I'll file a request. Gather any birth documents, certificates, photos, wristbands. That night, Lily found me in her room holding her baby book, the feather tucked inside. Mom, why are you looking at this? She asked, her voice small. She held her sketchbook, the phoenix, still unfinished. I swallowed, tears burning. Just remembering when you were born. She sat beside me, picking up the feather. You said you found this the day Dad wanted the test. Why is it such a big deal? I took a breath, honest this time. It felt like a warning, Lily. Like something was coming. And now, the test says Dad's not your dad. Her eyes widened, hurt flashing. What? So I'm not yours either. I grabbed her hand, desperate. You're mine, sweetheart, always. But we need to figure out what happened. She pulled away, tears falling, and slipped the feather back into her sketchbook like it was hers to carry now. I met Emily again the next day, needing her clarity. I told her about Tom's sister, the hospital hint, the 0%. Jenna's his half-sister, she said, stirring her latte. That explains the motel, but not the test. If his aunt knew about Fairview's issues, he might have suspected a switch. You need to find someone who worked there in '08. Nurses know things. I nodded, pulling out Lily's baby book, showing her a photo from the delivery room. A nurse, young dark-haired, looked tense, adjusting a bassinet. Her, I said. She looks off. Emily agreed. Track her down. Start with hospital alumni groups online. I joined a Fairview Facebook group that night, posting vaguely looking for maternity ward staff from June 2008. Anyone remember a dark-haired nurse, mid-20s? A reply came fast from a woman named Linda. Might be Jessica Reed. She's in Akron, now works at a clinic. DM me. My pulse raced. I messaged Linda, the feather in my hand, its blue edge a promise. Whatever happened that day, the day the feather appeared, wasn't done with us yet. The truth was slicing through me, sharp as the blue jay feather I kept in my wallet. Now, its blue edge worn from my touch. I'm Sarah, 42, and the past week had turned my world into a maze of doubts. Lily wasn't Tom's daughter. Maybe not mine either. And the feather, that warning from the day this all began, was now a blade I couldn't put down. I was done waiting for answers to fall into my lap. Lily was slipping away. Her phoenix sketch sat untouched, her earbuds a wall between us. At dinner, she barely touched her tacos. Her eyes on her phone, ignoring Tom's half-hearted small talk. You okay, sweetheart? I asked, my voice soft. She shrugged, not looking up. Fine. But her fingers grazed her sketchbook, where I knew the feather was tucked a secret she carried, since I told her about the DNA results. Tom was worse, holed up in the garage, his phone glued to his hand, jean match open like a lifeline. I wanted to shake him, make him face the mess he'd started, but I had bigger fights to pick. Rachel, my lawyer, was moving fast. I filed for access to Fairview's 2008 records, she emailed. Gather any birth documents, photos, wristbands, certificates. We'll need them for court. I tore through basement boxes, finding Lily's baby book, her tiny footprint inked on a hospital card, and a photo of me holding her. Tom grinning, a dark-haired nurse in the background, her face tight. That nurse, Jessica Reed, was my next step. Linda from the Fairview Facebook group had given me Jessica's contact, a nurse practitioner in Akron. I emailed her, my hands shaking. I gave birth at Fairview, June 4, 2008. A DNA test suggests a mix-up. Were you there? She called an hour later, her voice cautious. We should meet, she said. Not over the phone. I drove to Akron the next day, the feather in my wallet, my heart pounding. Jessica was at a coffee shop, a woman in her late 30s with sharp eyes and nervous hands clutching a mug. I was new in '08, she said, her voice low. That night was chaos. 2 girls born an hour apart, short-staffed new ID band system. I noticed a bassinet mix-up, wrong tags. I fixed it, or thought I did, but my supervisor, Margaret Klein, told me to keep quiet. Said it had ruined the hospital's reputation. My blood ran cold. So Lily might not be mine. Jessica looked away, her hands trembling. I quit a month later. I couldn't shake the feeling I'd missed something. Margaret's still at Fairview, head of nursing now. She knows more. I thanked her, my mind racing. Margaret Klein, still in power, covering up a mistake that stole my daughter. I didn't go home right away. I sat in my car, the feather in my hand, and called Emily, my Reddit lifeline. Jessica confirmed a mix-up, I told her, my voice shaking. And the supervisor's still running things at Fairview. What do I do? Emily's voice was steady. Get proof. If Margaret's still there, she's protecting herself. Record her if you can. Ohio's a one-party consent state. And don't go alone. I nodded, though she couldn't see me, and emailed Rachel Need to confront Margaret Klein, head of nursing at Fairview. Can you back me up? That night, I tried reaching Lily. She was in her room staring at her sketchbook, the feather on her desk. Mom, what's going to happen if I'm not yours? She asked, her voice, small eyes red. I sat beside her, my heart breaking. You're mine, Lily, no matter what. Blood doesn't change that. I'm fighting to know the truth for us. She picked up the feather, twirling it. This thing, it's like bad juju, right? The day it showed up, everything went wrong. I shook my head, tears falling. It's not bad. It's what keeps me going. It's us. She didn't smile, but she didn't pull away, and I held on to that. Tom was another story. I found him in the garage, staring at his phone, gene match open, but his face was hollow. What's wrong? I asked, my voice sharp. He looked up, eyes glassy. Gene match. It's a dead end. Jenna's the only match, but there's no trace of my dad. No records, no other relatives. I thought I'd find him Sarah, but there's nothing. His voice broke, and I saw it panic, not just about Lily, but about himself. He'd built his identity on finding his father, and now it was gone. You're falling apart, I said, softer than I meant, and you're dragging us with you. Your aunt knew about Fairview. Did she know about the switch? He shook his head, but his eyes darted away. She just said, things got messy. I didn't ask. I wanted to scream, but I saw his shame, his lostness, and it stopped me. We're not done, Tom, I said, but I'm finding the truth with or without you. The next morning I called Fairview, demanding to speak to Margaret Klein. The receptionist stonewalled me. She's in meetings all day. I didn't back down. Tell her it's about June 2008, a maternity ward error. I'll wait. An hour later, Margaret called back, her voice smooth but cold. Mrs. Carter, I don't know what you're implying, but our protocols are airtight. If you have concerns, submit them in writing. I clenched the feather through my wallet. I'm not submitting anything I said. I'm coming to you. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Be there. She paused, then hung up. I downloaded a voice recorder app, my hands steady. Emily was right. I needed proof. I told Rachel, who warned me, be careful. Margaret's powerful. If she's hiding something, she'll fight dirty. I'll have a subpoena ready if she slips. I also posted on our Family Secrets Confronting Hospital Exec tomorrow about a 2008 baby switch. Recording it? Any tips, replies, poured in. Stay calm, let her talk. Ask open-ended questions. Don't let her intimidate you. I felt a strange strength, like the feather was guiding me, not just warning me. Lily caught me that night, packing Lily's baby book for the meeting. You're going to the hospital, she asked, her voice sharp, the feather in her hand. What if they say, I'm not yours? I knelt, taking her hands, feather and all. Then, we make a new story, you and me. But I need you to trust me. She nodded, tears falling, and slipped the feather back into her sketchbook. Don't lose Mom, she whispered. I hugged her, promising I wouldn't. The next morning, I drove to Fairview, the feather in my wallet, my phone set to record. Margaret was waiting in a conference room, her gray hair pulled tight, her suit crisp. Mrs. Carter, she said, her smile thin. This is a waste of time. Our records are impeccable. I set Lily's baby book on the table, the photo of Jessica open. Then explain this, I said, my voice steel. Jessica Reed says you covered up a bassinet switch in 2008. 2 girls born an hour apart. My daughter's not mine. Who is she? Margaret's eyes flickered, but she leaned forward, voice low. You're treading dangerous ground. Accusations like that could ruin lives, including yours. Drop this, or you'll regret it. I didn't flinch, my phone catching every word. I'm not dropping anything I said, and I'm not alone. My lawyer's ready, and I have witnesses. Tell me who the other mother was, or this goes public. Her face paled, and I knew I had her. I left my heart racing, the feather afire in my pocket. Margaret hadn't given a name, but her threat was proof she was hiding something. I sent the recording to Rachel, who replied, This is gold. We'll get the records. I drove home, the feather's edge cutting through my fear. Lily was on the porch, sketching the phoenix taking shape. Did you win? She asked, her eyes hopeful. Not yet, I said, sitting beside her. But I'm close. The feather was no longer just a warning. It was my weapon, and I was ready to fight for my daughter, whoever she was. The truth cut deeper than I expected, but I held it close, like the blue jay feather in my wallet, its edges frayed, but still sharp. I'm Sarah, 42, and the past month had stripped my life bare. Lily wasn't Tom's daughter, nor mine by blood, and the feather that flared from the day this began had become my fight, my proof, my bridge to a new kind of family. I was bruised, but I wasn't broken. Margaret Klein's threat echoed, but her falter in that recorded confrontation gave me leverage. Rachel, my lawyer, used it to pry open Fairview's 2008 records, and buried in the logs was a name, Clara Monroe, who'd given birth to a girl the same night as me, June 4th, 2008. My hands shook as Rachel ran a background check. Clara lived in Lakewood, 20 miles away, married to Dan with a daughter, Ava, 16. Ava, who might be mine. Lily, who might be Clara's. The feather felt like fire urging me toward the other half of this story. I met Clara at a park 2 days later, the feather in my wallet, my heart a drum. She was my age, auburn hair in a loose bun, her eyes wary but kind. Rachel told me about the DNA test, she said, sitting on a bench, her hands twisting a scarf. You think our girls were switched? I nodded, showing her Lily's baby book photo. My voice unsteady. This is Lily. She's mine, but maybe yours. Clara's breath hitched as she pulled out her phone, showing Ava. Tall, wavy brown hair, my nose. Ava's my heart, she said, tears brimming. But she never looked like us. I wondered, but never pushed. We agreed to a private DNA test for Lily and Ava, arranged by Rachel. I don't want to lose Lily, I said, my voice breaking. Clara touched my hand. I don't want to lose Ava, but we deserve to know. The wait was agony. Lily was a ghost. Her phoenix sketch abandoned her silence louder than her earbuds. One night she snapped. "Why didn't you tell me from the start?" she yelled, her sketchbook slamming shut, the feather falling to the floor. I knelt, picking up the feather, tears streaming. "You're mine, Lily, in every way that counts. I was scared you'd hate me, but I'm fighting for you, for us." She collapsed into my arms, sobbing, and I held her, the feather between us, a vow I wouldn't break. Tom was drowning. He'd stopped checking Gene Match, his half-sister Jenna, the only thread to a father who didn't exist. "I thought I'd find him," he told me in the kitchen, his voice raw. "But there's nothing. No dad, no answers. And now, Lily," he choked, eyes red, "I've lost you both." I saw his pain, but his secrecy had carved a chasm. "I went looking for my daughter," I said, steady. "You went looking for a ghost. The difference is, I found something real." He flinched, but didn't argue his shame, a weight he'd carry alone. "Rachel got me Margaret Klein's personnel file, revealing she'd been promoted after 2008, likely to silence her role in the cover-up. I went back to Fairview, unannounced, the feather in my pocket, my phone recording. Margaret was in her office, her composure cracking when she saw me. "You're relentless," she said, her voice low. "What do you want?" I leaned forward, the baby book open to Jessica's photo. "Admit it," I said. "You buried the switch to save your career. I have Jessica's testimony, your threat on tape, and a subpoena coming. Name the other mother, or this goes to the press." Her eyes darted. Then she sighed. "Clara Monroe. That's all I know. Now get out." I left the feather, a triumph, my recording sent to Rachel, who filed a lawsuit that same day. Fairview offered mediation, a crack in their armor. The DNA test results came 3 days later. Rachel called, her voice calm. "Lily is Clara and Dan's biological daughter. Ava is yours and Tom's." I sank to the floor, the feather slipping from my wallet, tears falling. It was true, a hospital's mistake had swapped our girls, rewriting 16 years. I cried for the life I thought I'd had, but also for the one I could build. Lily took it hard. "So I'm not yours?" she asked, her voice small, the feather in her sketchbook. I held her face, fierce. "You're mine because I chose you every day. And Ava, she's part of us now." I took her to meet Ava, but Lily surprised me. She'd already found Ava online, messaging her on Instagram. "We're not letting them decide for us," she told me, her eyes blazing, the feather tucked in her pocket. At the park, Lily and Ava met, awkward but bold. "You're not like stealing my mom, right?" Lily teased, handing Ava the feather. "This was Mom's. Now it's ours." Ava smiled, tucking it into her sketchbook, a bridge between sisters not bound by blood. I watched, my heart swelling, Lily's defiance, a spark of healing. I took Ava out alone the next week, just us, to a lakeside trail. She was quiet, her sketchbook under her arm. So, like Lily, it hurt. "Did you ever imagine what your daughter would be like?" she asked, her voice soft, the feather peeking from her book. I smiled, tears pricking. "I didn't need to. I had Lily. But you? You're like this feather, free, not tied to blood, just you." She hugged me, tentative but real, and I felt a piece of my heart settle. Tom and I were done. He moved to an apartment, promising to stay in Lily's life, but his search for a father had cost him us. "I'm sorry," he said the last time we spoke, his voice heavy. "I thought I needed him to know who I was." I nodded, the feather in my hand. "I found who I am," I said. "She's sketching with her sister." He left a shadow of the man I'd loved. Clara and I met weekly, blending our families. Lily stayed with me, but visited Clara, laughing at Dan's corny jokes. Ava came for dinners, her art filling our walls. Fairview settled the lawsuit, issuing a public apology, their protocols overhauled because of us. I stayed on our family secrets, helping others navigate DNA shocks, the feather my badge of survival. One evening, I sat on the porch, reading while Lily and Ava sketched in the yard, their laughter a melody. The feather, now in Ava's sketchbook, lay between them, its blue catching the fading light. Tom stood beyond the fence, watching a stranger to this new world. A breeze lifted the feather, carrying it skyward, drifting over the girls, a fleeting arc of blue. It landed softly, unseen in the grass, a sign of two lives woven together not by blood, but by choice, truth, and love. I closed my book whole in a way I'd never expected the feather's flight, my final answer,